Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guest today is Duane Murray, who I got a cop to something, Duane. I haven't gone back and listened to the recording from this morning, but if you wind up listening to this morning's episode, I think I misnamed you as a Larry McMurtry character.
There's something with that, right? I think there is.
I think I said I was talking to Duane Moore.
Right. Yeah.
Who was in Last Picture Show, Texasville, Duane's Depressed.
Yeah, Duane's Depressed.
When the Light Goes, and Rhino Ranch, which are five of my favorite books. And I'm really annoyed that the two that are my favorite of those, Texasville and When the Light Goes, are the ones that there aren't audio versions yet. And that's how I do most of my rereading and even most of my prose reading, period.
Yeah.
And I want to read Texasville again, but it's like the biggest of them. And I'm not as good at reading prose as I was when I was younger, both in terms of finding the time and just in terms of having the patience to go through the words. And there's not a comic book version and there's not an audible version.
No, and it's funny, I've actually tried to read Infinite Jest 3 times and I've never.
Yeah, that's one that I haven't managed to crack.
That's a good candidate for like a double speed audiobook, I feel like.
Yeah. Actually, the audio book that I still haven't gotten through that I need to take another crack at is Alan Moore's Jerusalem, which I've listened to like 30 hours of, which is like a little less than half of it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to focus well enough. So like the 30-hour mark, I'm only halfway there. I don't remember half of what I've heard. We're hearing about characters that I don't know. I'm going to have to start this over sometime, but it's not going to be today.
Yeah.
And I'd even planned it to start on a long drive and just, for whatever reason, I was in not the right headspace to follow along with it. So one day, most of the time I do better with audiobooks. But sometimes it's like I have a racing brain.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking. One of the things I like about a good audiobook is it can control my thinking, particularly when I'm driving, and driving takes up enough of my brain that it's only a little part of my brain that's available. But that also means that if I can't focus on the book, if I'm thinking about how to end world hunger or what book club to start or any of the other random things that I think about, I can't even hear the audiobook, even though it's playing.
And then you have to go back, redo the chapter. Yeah, it's bad.
So to comic books, now that I've copped to calling you the wrong name and we've talked about great Larry McMurtry books, honestly, I think that's his masterpiece series more than the Lonesome Dove. I love the 4 Lonesome Dove books. They're amazing.
Yeah.
But give me the Duane Moore saga.
Right.
Just the picture of a man from his teenage years through his old age, slice of Americana, slice of Texas, apolitical, but not really. The characters as apolitical as you can be while actually still caring about being good.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I always thought that the third one, Duane's Depressed, just the title was like, I assume Last Picture Show. Most people know Last Picture Show. Yeah. To go from Last Picture Show to the book about the main character that's actually called Duane's Depressed and has him going to a therapist.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, this Texas guy.
That's actually Duane's Depressed is my favorite, and not because it was probably the mantra of my 20s, but it's actually my favorite.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Really, my favorite are Texasville through When the Light Goes.
Right.
When the Light Goes, I actually read in one sitting in public even. Actually, and part of it is there was a Denny's that I used to spend lots of late nights at because one of the waitresses was like a mother to me. So I'd show up, I'd grab a cup of coffee, I'd sometimes have some pie, and like tip her 3 times the bill at the end of the evening, and she took care of me.
Yeah.
And one night I went and I read Duane's Depressed cover to cover, or not Duane's Depressed, When the Light Goes cover to cover.
Yeah.
And I still had time, so I'm like, I'm going to start Stephen King's On Writing. And the next thing I knew, the sun was coming up, and I finished reading King's book on writing.
Wow.
Because I'd sat in a booth at Denny's for like 8 hours and just read 2 books cover to cover.
I've only done that. The Road is the only book I've done that with.
The Road, the Cormac McCarthy.
Yeah, the only novel
I haven't read the physical version. I read the recent graphic novel adaptation, which I thought was phenomenal. I don't think it's a physical one that I could have read. I read On the Road in, I think, 2 sittings.
Yeah.
I think The Road would have been too intense. I think I would have had to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I never got to it in prose.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But why I was all over the graphic novel version when it came out is like, I've heard amazing things about this. I want to read it, but I need to be able to do it in a shorter time, and I can't make pictures in my head. And it always seemed like the one where I was going to need to envision things.
Right. Yeah.
So having somebody else envision them for me was really important.
Right.
So yeah, but you first. Oh, we're going to go new first. Coming up soon. March 19th, so a little bit more than a month. You have Who Are the Power Pals, which I was lucky enough to read the first issue of because you were kind enough to send it to me, and I freaking loved it.
Go ahead.
So start with the like front counter pitch. You're at a comic shop. Who are you selling this to, and how are you selling it to them?
I don't even know who I'm. Well, the elevator pitch from the film parlance is these 2 former teen actors who are now washed up and long for the days when they thought they were going to have fame, and in wanting to get that fame back, they put on the costumes that they had on the failed TV show. And they go out to bring attention to themselves and end up in a viral video. And in doing so, they realize, if we could maybe fight some crime and get these viral videos, we could be famous again. And of course, one does it for the fame, and the other one does it for the true desire to help people. And they go forth trying to stop crimes, and in doing so, attract the attention of an international crime boss who now wants to kill them. For real.
Doesn't he? I mean, since you gave hints beyond issue 1, I'm going to ask the mildly spoilery question. Doesn't he also own their rights?
Yes. That's what gets him going. Is he? So where you've read, so the Power Pals end up disrupting his life even more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that definitely.
Inadvertently.
Right.
But in doing so, he wants them more and more dead as time goes on. You're right. In the first issue, it's just basically, he's told, you own those characters, and now they're just running around with them and getting all the attention for it. And he just as a guy who doesn't like to be taken advantage of, wants to stop them from doing that.
Right.
And as issues go on, they end up affecting his business. I'm making quotations, business more and more. And in doing
you're making me think of Pete Postlethwaite in Usual Suspects. The fact that you didn't know that you were stealing from Kaiser Soze is the only reason that you're still alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It is. It's that kind of thing. And I've compared it to Pineapple Express.
Okay.
Where they inadvertently steal from the drug lord, and now he's trying to kill them, and it's
right.
And it's got that buddy comedy kind of feel to it.
And I think I also feel the need to clarify: washed up is like overstating their fame.
Yes, they were never. Yeah, there was nothing. I guess, and their agent mentions that as like you never had anything to begin with. Like they
right.
Look, I've seen washed up.
You
actors.
Can't have a comeback.
Yeah, if you never came in the first place.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
They were the guys that were on billboards for the show that got canceled after the pilot
Exactly.
crapped out,
Yeah.
essentially.
Which, we had, remember, like in the 90s, we had those failed attempts at these superhero shows.
Yeah.
Remember the original, was it New Mutants or something? Or
I think
Generation
so.
maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
And we've, now on YouTube, we can sort of, that old Justice League pilot, like all these, when superheroes.
Oh, I know. I remember, and like, I hate the number of people that I have to talk around because they've wound up being bad actors. But there's a writer that I once adored who wrote a series with a number of different artists called Global Frequency, and for a while, its pilot episode was like the holy grail of, because it was really good and still didn't manage to.
Yeah, no. Even what's his, like, it went longer than a pilot episode, but Bendis's Powers.
Right. That made 2 seasons.
Did they do 2
And that
seasons?
it really infuriated me because the second season wound up being Who Killed Power Girl.
Right.
Because Sony was convinced that they had to start somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I actually thought the second season was better than the first season, but they just didn't even have the first season wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And the reasons that it wasn't great were all in places that they diverted from.
Yeah.
I mean, Preacher made it 4 years, I think, but essentially had the same problem, which is like the entire first season is essentially the first issue of Preacher.
Right.
Only they felt the need to explain more than Garth and Steve ever bothered to.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're spending too much time on this.
Yeah.
Get them on the road.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a buddy road trip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, even sometimes when you've got the mildly successful, because and as I know more people who are on both sides of the fence, I think it's because the people who actually control the purse strings in Hollywood, A, don't care about good art or good story, and B, don't actually understand what winds up making money.
No, it's all a crapshoot. I mean,
they have some ideas, and not all of them are terrible.
Yeah,
but some of them are.
Yeah.
And it's just which is why I always pray that people can actually make the living off of their comics. Because if you gotta wait for
I mean,
then my medium, the one that I care about, doesn't get stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because a lot of people cross over that way. I crossed over the opposite way. I came from the movie side, not only as an actor, but I'd produced some independent films. I'd written some films. I'd developed some TV shows, one with Netflix, and that creative process is so frustrating. And so I actually came to comics to be able to be creative in a way that I didn't feel fulfilled doing the other stuff. Largely because everything I tried to do on that side, though I get paid well for it, doesn't get made. Like, it is so hard to get something made. Whereas in comics, for Better Place, my first book, I took the money from an option of a screenplay, and I paid an artist, and I made the book. And then Top Shelf published them. I just wanted to have the book. No one may ever read this. Maybe I'll kickstart it. I don't know. And then I sent it to a publisher, and Top Shelf picked it up and published it. And it was such a great creative experience that I realized, like, this is actually what I want to do. And it right now anyway, because I'm new to this part of the industry, it actually costs me money.
That's not uncommon even with people that aren't new to the industry.
Yeah, exactly. And so I hope that all I hope is that I get to break even. And it's funny because people ask me about that, and I say, well, it's still cheaper than when I was self-financing films.
Right.
The amount I paid for Better Place is even the level I was making films was tiny. To make a graphic novel was still a 20th of that.
Right.
So Swallow that easier.
If you pay $500 a page, you're the best. You're among the best paying in the industry.
Yeah,
and to put that into perspective for people, at $500 a page, a 22 page comic is costing $11,000 to the artist.
Yes.
And that may seem like a lot for a month's work, but go do it.
Oh God, yeah, no. I've been very fortunate in that I have the artists who I've worked with, I've either gotten early or they liked what I was doing enough to cut me a deal.
Right. No, I get it. Well, and like I said, at $500 a page, realistically, actually, you could spend $500 a page split between the writer, artist, inker, colorist, and letterer, and still be among the best paying gigs in the business.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I break this down just so people understand that to make a 22 page comic is about 10 grand just to pay the people making it a living wage.
Yeah.
That's essentially, at this point we don't have inkers as much because people are digital. So if it's $150 a page for the writer, $250 for the artist, because even writers will tell you that they put in way more work.
Yeah.
$100 for the colorist, $50 for the letterer. You could probably actually get the colorist for $75 and the letterer for $25.
Per
exactly. Page.
Yeah.
And again, I can't emphasize enough, be among the better paying people in the business.
Yeah.
Which is disturbing because that was also among the better paying people in the business in 1980.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not adjusting for inflation there.
Yeah, they have not moved much. There was a bit of a boom in the 90s for some page rates, but that was...
No, but the whole reason Image exists is there wasn't enough of a boom for
Oh, exactly.
They're like, wait a minute, I just sold you 1 million copies and you want to offer me what per page?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's always been a business where it's way more about loving to tell stories and loving the medium than getting rich.
And which
there are people who get lucky.
I have my whole life. I just listened to a recent podcast you did with Rosenberg, who, and I can't help but feel the exact same way when he talks about it. Is I can't draw. I try to draw. Believe me, if I could even be as 10% as good as a Tyler Boss, I'd be drawing my own comics, but I'm not.
How lucky are we that Matthew Rosenberg and Tyler Boss worked at Forbidden Planet together?
Yes. I've embarrassed Tyler and Matt frequently by telling them this, but Four Kids Walk Into a Bank is huge inspiration for me. I think it's lightning in a bottle comic that will never be... I love both of their work. I love when they work together. I love Furthest Place. Four Kids is lightning in a bottle. Like, it's just...
I call it Matt gets defensive and says that he can tell me problems with it, but I call it a perfect comic.
Yeah.
I can't figure out anything that I think isn't done as well as you could possibly do for the story. And in fact, I will be talking about it again tomorrow. It comes up every time I talk to Matthew and Tyler.
Yes.
We devoted an entire episode to it.
Yeah.
Very early in the podcast.
Nice.
So like our 4th or 5th episode, our main segment was, we're going to talk about why Four Kids Walk Into the Bank is so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
For that matter, that's the 2 most detailed set of show notes I've ever done are that one and the one that we did about the Constitution in comics after we decided that, you know what, people need to read the Constitution. There's a comic for that.
Yeah. And to be straight up honest, like Four Kids is partly what showed me what you could do in comics that didn't have to be superhero or horror or autobio comics. It was this, it was funny. It was heartwarming, and Power Pals even when I was looking for an artist, I said I need undiscovered Tyler Boss. That's who I
Right.
want. That's who I need.
Well, and I was a big fan of, is it Ahmad Rafat or is it
Ahmed Rafat, yeah,
Ahmad Rafat?
yeah,
I was a big fan of him on the Quick Stops.
yes,
So I mean, because I didn't remember your name
right,
from Better Place,
yeah,
he was my first pull into this book as I went, oh, he did Quick Stops. That was
yeah, yeah,
really good art.
yeah, yeah. So I got him. I was looking for an artist to do Power. I didn't have a publisher. I just after
Right.
Better Place and its success, I was like, I'm gonna do this again, but this time I want to make a comic. I want to make a like in the shops monthly comic. And I was looking for artists, and Michael Walsh, who's a friend of mine, lives just down the road from me,
Ah,
tweeted asking for saying I was looking for an artist. Most of the responses were awful.
right.
Like just, and it's a lot of like bots doing like basically AI anime. It seems like just terrible stuff. But
No, I
someone
understand.
had tagged Ahmed, and Ahmed hadn't done Kevin Smith's book yet. He was in the midst of doing his Astro Nudes self-published book.
Okay.
And I loved the art. And I pitched him, and he said, "Yep, I'm in." We started talking about it. We did some preview pages, and then he got the call from Kevin Smith. And so
Right.
then
And it's like,
we shelved our book. Yeah, exactly.
Duane, I might have a publisher for your book now because I'm doing some work for them, but you're going to have to be second in line.
So I had to wait.
But
Interestingly,
did he make introductions? I mean, you're an actor
no.
too. You could possibly be in the next Kevin Smith movie. I mean,
Yeah, that's the hope, right? The introduction was actually from Tyler Boss. Tyler Boss introduced me to his Dead Dogs Bite editor,
right.
and so I sent it to him. So weirdly, we got Dark Horse without the help of Ahmed on a
Oh, wow.
Smith book.
Okay.
But
Okay.
he
Who
ended up
was
doing
remind me which editor did,
Red Israel. Red Israel.
okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
I try to keep track of editors' names just because A, they make great interviews when they're willing to talk.
yes.
And B, I've found that editors are often among the best ways to judge comics if you don't know the other talent.
Right. Yeah, well, they're the tastemakers, right? They're the ones,
Right.
Yeah. So
I
and that was
mean,
the thing, too.
I've said it many times. I've said it to her face, both in person and on air. We owe so much in comics today to the taste of Shelley Bond.
Yeah. Well, and Karen Berger.
Karen Berger too.
Yeah, they're the two that like. Yeah.
I don't like to downplay Karen too much, but I don't know Karen yet. Shelley's a friend. I don't know Karen. I'd like to, but I think Shelley did more of the finding new talent.
Right.
I felt like Karen did a lot of taking talent that she had and allowing them to do new things and fostering that. But I feel like Shelley did a lot of the finding new talent.
Right.
The people that you hadn't seen stuff from before, and
Yeah.
suddenly you were seeing stuff, and it was great, and they're still working today.
Yeah.
For that matter, it's still one of the things that she cares about the most is finding that next great cartoonist.
Well, and that's also, I mean, we're winding back a bit. That was again why I felt so honored when I submitted Better Place to Top Shelf, and Better Place was directly inspired by that era of Lemire, Matt Kint, and Nate Powell and their book on Top Shelf. That Chris Staros.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
right.
With them there.
Staros is another guy that I'd like to have on one day.
Oh yeah,
because I've only heard amazing things about him.
He's a brilliant mind, and talk about finding talent. I mean, that's it's just like,
I mean, Top Shelf is almost an automatic read for me.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, if it's not an automatic right now read, it's like if I'm ever looking at a book and I'm on the fence and I flip it over and it says Top Shelf, it's like, okay.
So when I opened the box, the comps box, and I opened it, and all like I saw the little olive on the spine, and I'm like, that's it. That's all I wanted. I just wanted the little olive on the spine.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we kind of touched on it in a roundabout way. One of the questions I like to ask creators and particularly creators, I mean, you're doing your second book, but early in their career, early in their comics careers,
Very early.
is tell me your comic book biography. But what I mean by that is not like start from like the earliest comic you remember buying or reading and take us through what made you fall in love for the medium, what made you decide that you wanted to tell stories here rather than somewhere else, that sort of thing.
You know, it's funny.
In other words, I should get lots of recommendations out of this speech.
The biography of comics love and comics appreciation and comics desire, even though I came to it so late as a creator, was as a child. I remember the first comic I bought with my own money, which was Batman 417, the first 10 Nights of the Beast issue. But before that, I would go to my cottage, which I hated. I was bored out of my mind, but my uncle had a box of comics under one of the beds. And it had things like the Twilight Zone books, the Jerry Lewis books. So stuff from before my time, but my introduction to Strange Tales. Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, so Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, the wrestling issue where he's fighting the bee with the stinger. These things just flooded and I read these over and over and over again.
See, I have this similar starting, only it was a later era of comics. My dad and uncle both left their comics at my grandma's house. So whenever I went to grandma's, she would pull out the box from under the stairs, and it was all like mid 60s to early late 60s to early 80s Marvel stuff.
Right. Well, that's amazing. I mean, that's a great era.
Exactly.
And then even as a child, my mom would bring home like Star comics, so like Spider-Ham, and I always loved humor stuff. I loved what
Spider-Ham's great. I gave my wife there's a stuffed Spider-Ham on the shelf over there that I gave my wife.
So, and I loved the Heath and Mad Balls and Heathcliff, so I loved those. And then I also would just get these random issues my mom would get back when they sold them at convenience stores. She would pull them off the rack. So I had this Marvel team up with Black Panther. He's in a helicopter. I remember the cover so clearly. And he's shooting this like gun that has these sort of blades on them. And they're cutting Spider-Man's costume. And I remember, I don't know who the inker was for that book, but clearly as a child, I didn't think they were a good enough inker because I re-inked the whole book. I like traced over some of the blue, and I remember in the glass shard and adding a little extra ballpoint pen blue to it. And then in like grade 6, 7 is when I first started venturing into comic book stores. Before that, it was comics I would get or convenience stores. That was it. But and I walked into the store, and I still remember so clearly the cover to Dark Knight Returns first issue on the wall. I think it was $20, and that cover I was like, what is that? And I bought this third printing of the second issue because it was still cover price, and I read that, and I desperately needed to read the first issue. And so I think I found a second printing for $11. There you go.
Is that the right one?
So yeah, look at that. Look, so all those glass shards. Yeah, I added a bit of extra ink to that.
so yeah, Marvel team up number 87.
86. There you go. Oh, 87. Yeah.
87.
Claws of the Panther. Yeah, look at that. That's amazing.
I'm good at finding my comics.
That is amazing. So that was mid 80s, and what a time to walk into a comic store, because that was Dark Knight Returns, that was Watchmen, that was Black and White Ninja Turtles, that was even later. I guess it was more late 80s, like 88, McFarlane on Spider-Man. Like that was when I was using my part-time job money to go to the comic stores in the basement of a mall in Ottawa, which is where I grew up. Yeah. And I spent all my money on comics. Oh, the Punisher miniseries with the Mike Zeck painted covers.
Right. See, I'm just a little bit younger than you.
Right.
So I was in the stores for some of that.
Yeah.
but I was 4 in '84. So
Right.
I mean, I've even written about this in American Nature Presents #1, which totally pick American Nature Presents #2 came out this week. I also had a column in that. Anybody
Nice.
not reading Santos Sisters should.
Right. Right.
But I'll plug my own work.
Yeah.
But I had been debating between them, and like over the next years, I would generally buy either Marvel Team Up or World's Finest, because
Right.
Marvel Team Up had Spider-Man and somebody, and World's
Yeah.
Finest had both Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
And in my 4-year-old brain, the more heroes, the better.
Yes.
So I was debating between those two on my first trip to the comic store, and
Yeah.
then I saw the Holy Grail. Secret Wars #1 had just come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it had all of the heroes.
Yes. Yes. And that was a friend of mine had those, and he also had Web of Spider-Man #1, which was the first time I'd seen the black costume. I was like,
Right.
whoa, what is that?
I think I had Web of Spider-Man #1 because my dad bought it for himself.
Nice.
Because I mean, that was essentially why we went. My dad wasn't buying nearly as many comics anymore, but he still liked Bill Sienkiewicz a lot. He still liked a handful of specific artists enough to go in, particularly with a 4-year-old. You know, there was relatively walking distance from home, you know, a good enough walk that he'd feel like he got to walk in, and there was both a candy shop and a comic book store.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could convince the 4-year-old, let's go for a walk. And you know, it's called the popcorn shop. And at the time it was almost entirely 1, 2, and 5-cent candy.
Right.
So like if I had a quarter for the popcorn shop and could get one comic, it cost him less than $1. And I was like over the moon because I had a sack of candy. Because if I had a quarter, I was getting 25 1-cent pieces.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I was as a child. I was the same. I was quantity over quality every time. I went. Right. Oh, Henry, every chocolate bar, because gram wise, it was the heaviest. And it wasn't even my favorite. Like I was a peanut butter cups or Twix guy, but I still
love it,
Henry, because it was more chocolate bar.
I love it.
So that was like back then. And then I was a comic reader like all through high school, like the Claremont X-Men stuff. I was reading pretty regularly through then. And also making my version of terrible comics. So I and I kind of want to revive it. I would make.
It's a good place to start.
I would rip off Spy versus Spy, except it was Ninja versus Ninja, and I had a black ninja with a white headband, and a white ninja with a black headband. And I basically just copied Spy versus Spy antics, and they would fight each other, and one would the ninja star, and it's come around the back. But I was never a good artist. And then in middle school, I joined up with a guy and we made strips together. And then I was an athlete. I was a high school athlete. And
is this going to be you discovered girls and didn't have money for a comic story? I've heard that many times, so I won't judge you too much.
Girls less so. That came a little later, but I definitely. It's weird. I naturally fell out of comic. I was getting more into film then. Yeah. I was planning on going to film school. I fell out of comics, but it's not terrible timing because that was the 90s.
Yeah.
So I actually missed the Image wave. I only came back to some of them later, like the Max. The Max, I came back and was like, what is this? This is amazing.
Right.
And all through university, I was out of comics, and I graduated, and there was a guy who just sold comics near our university. He didn't have a store, but he had a table. And Heroes Reborn had just started.
Okay, that's when I got back in too.
There you go. And I got and now that I was
Busiek on or no, maybe I got into Heroes Return when Busiek was doing Iron Man and Avengers.
Oh yeah, with Perez and
right.
Yeah. Right. So that was a little after. That was
I think that was right after the Reborn.
Exactly, it was because that's also when. So when I came out of school, then I went whole hog right in. I had a subscription at a local store, and I spent $100 a week easily on comics. which for a guy with a massive student loan was a lot of money. But that to me was, I was reading everything, like everything Marvel, everything DC, lots of Image stuff, but still I was kind of a superhero loyalist. And the furthest I'd read Kingdom Come and Astro City and these things that were superhero, but a little deeper, a little to the side.
Right.
And loved that stuff. And I did not read a lot of independent. So this was still, so comics as a creative outlet, as a creator, and as someone to be able to break into it as a business was still so far from my mind.
Right.
Because I couldn't draw and I didn't naturally write superhero stuff as much as I loved it.
Right.
All my ideas were more, they went into energy for me making films because that's
right.
I didn't do superheroes. I loved them, but I didn't do them.
Right.
And then that wave of top shelf books came. Jeff Lemire's Essex County, Nate Powell's, what was his first one? Swallow Me Whole.
Yeah.
Matt Kint's Super Spy and 3-Story.
Right.
I discovered, it's funny because I don't know if you know the shop. It's called The Beguiling. It's in Toronto. It's a pretty
I know of it.
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
So Brian Lee O'Malley, who, Scott Pilgrim, he worked there. Like, it was a pretty famous shop.
That's one of the reasons I know of it.
Exactly. And I was like their superhero customer. Every other customer was like the high-end, independent.
I feel like that was Zdarsky's shop too.
It was. Yeah, absolutely. It was. Yeah.
Back when he was Steve.
Yeah, exactly. And Jeff Lemire's shop, like all those Toronto guys. And it was the guys of The Beguiling who were like, have you tried reading this stuff? And it's funny because I tried reading that stuff when I was younger and I hated it. I didn't like Love and Rockets. I didn't like Cerebus. I didn't like any of that indie stuff people liked. I didn't like.
I hope you've gotten around to Love and Rockets by now. Cerebus, it's forgivable because of the way he completely fell off at the end.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Love and Rockets is... We were talking about 4 kids walking to a bank being a perfect comic. Love and Rockets is like 40 years of perfect comics.
Well, and it took me, so it was reading Essex County, it was reading those top shelf books that A, made me explore that stuff more, and B, made me think, comics don't have to be superheroes. Yeah. They can be just personal stories. And
that's like a mind-blowing thing, isn't it?
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I still couldn't draw. And so it wasn't a thing I was doing. I was still making films and support. So I became friends with Jeff. I became friends with Matt. I became friends with Nate, largely because for a while my job was to find graphic novels that I thought would make good movie adaptations before everything was being pilfered. Right. So a small company had hired me to do that. And so I made relationships with these guys. And eventually it was actually Kickstarter and people doing Kickstarters, even though I've never done one, that showed me, you do that and you hire an artist. The way I hire a DP or a director to do a film, you hire an artist. And so I did that with Better Place. I got the rights back for that script because that was originally a movie thing. And because I knew comics, my whole life, I rewrote it as a comic. It's not like and this is what I think there are comics people who will look at someone like me and say, you're not, you're trying to sneak in. You're trying to sneak into the comics world. But I've been a comics person my whole life. And I get annoyed at that. And I get equally annoyed at people who are on the film side, who have scripts that didn't get produced, who think the way to get them produced is to just give that script to an artist and they'll draw it and it'll be a comic and then there you go. And I hate that too. And they don't realize it is a completely different medium and form. And so
there's the third kind, the ones that will actually say that they're slumming it in comics.
Right. Yeah. And it's
okay to be in both worlds.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I mean,
as long as you treat both worlds with respect.
Yeah. And
frankly, as long as you understand that comics are the better medium, even if there's not more money there. That's my addendum.
Again, the big thing of you don't just take a screenplay that failed and give it to an artist and think that it's their job to make it good. I took a year to rewrite Better Place as a book when it was already a completed film. Right. Because I understood what that took, and by going through that process, you also realize it's actually a completely different story. It could still be a film that would probably be unrecognizable from the book, the way I had it.
Right.
And then I found Sean and had him draw it. I sent the completed book, so I paid for the whole book. I sent that book to only Top Shelf, and just on a whim. Because I was going to maybe go to Kickstarter to print it. I didn't want to go to Kickstarter for the art money. I felt like that was my responsibility. But I thought for printing, maybe I'll do that. Instead, I sent it to Chris directly. He wrote back and said, "You forgot to post the link," which I did. And I said, "Oh my God, there goes my one chance." But I also thought he wrote back. Like, what an amazing guy. Like, he wrote back. He could have just never responded, and it would have been in the ether and nothing. But he actually said, "Send me the link." I sent him the link. He wrote me the next morning and said, "I think you've done something really special here. I want to publish this."
It's fantastic.
And I wrote back saying, "This could not make a cent, and you've just made my life. Like, you've just the editor I respect probably most in the world liked my book."
Right.
But they did publish it. Got published.
Since we're talking it really quick, let's take the break from the comics journey to give us the front counter pitch for Better Place.
So Better Place is about a young boy and his grandfather, and they are really close. And his grandfather dies. That's not a spoiler. Very early on in the book. And he gets told, as many young children are, that his grandfather has gone to a better place. Dylan, the young boy, thinks a better place is an actual place. And so he sets off, runs away from home to find this better place so that he can be with his grandfather again.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
And people hear that,
very
like,
good
"Oh no!" And I like to think it's true. There's some sadness,
but with a lot of humor, and both grandfather and grandson cosplay in a serious way as superheroes.
That's true. Yes.
And you've got the overworked mom that wants desperately to do well by her dad and her son, and just has too much going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a lot of layers that work really well. It's my new favorite thing to call most of my favorite books is it's messy in the best possible way.
Right.
It's not just an A to B story. It's you've got A, you've got Z, you've got B prime and B and B double prime, and B sub 2.
Yeah. And it's it's got that sort of big fish episodic.
There's a theta over here.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that book means a lot to me. Like that was my first book. It was very personal to me. One of the people he meets along the way is an older man who thinks that Dylan is his grandson. He's suffering from dementia, and I show very briefly, not too dark, because it is a book that the publisher decided is for middle grade, the sort of darker side of these homes that I witnessed my grandfather go through. And so I went through a lot of emotional catharsis making it. But I also can't help but sort of add little jokes.
Well, and as somebody who ran those homes, I can say, thank God most of them don't go to quite the extreme that some of your, and that's why I also appreciated that there was a certain element where you could tell reading it that it was supposed to be hyperbole. It's supposed to be the extreme of.
Right. For sure.
But on the flip side, my wife and I were out to breakfast this morning at a family owned restaurant that we love to go to, and we were commenting on the mom and dad that opened the restaurant, who are now very much grandma and grandpa and or great grandma and grandpa. I'm not even certain. Right. Their kids mostly run the restaurant now.
Right.
but they're still there every day.
Yeah.
And mom, even though it's clear that she's not anywhere near her best, still spends most of the day rolling silverware. Dad spends most of the day clearing or wiping down tables, except those days he's having a good enough day that he's back in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And what I commented was, this is what we lose when we have corporate-run healthcare.
Right.
Because, one of the things I went nuts to do was have activities with purpose.
Right.
Whether it was, letting my residents set the tables or vacuum or whatever. And like all my higher ups all ever wanted me to do was more crafts. And I'm sitting there going, most of these people weren't crafters.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's even really what they want to do in their old age to begin with. And for that matter, I did lots of like read alouds or other educational type things.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there going, people like to feel like they're accomplishing something. And there are really two ways to accomplish something. You do something and do something that like actually means something. Not, oh, I'm 85 years old and look at the paper wreath I made for my door. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. We do those once a year, but we didn't need to do them once a month.
Yeah. Sure.
or their equivalent once a week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or, they'd like to be able to tell their friends, family, whatever, they were reading this the other day and I'd never known this. This was really cool.
Yeah.
Even when they couldn't remember a ton, because it's a sense of purpose. But the reason that it was so hard to get those things, and for that matter, they love movie nights.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But the reason I always had to fight with management, I mean, I was management sometimes, but even when I was management, the reason I had to fight with higher ups, the reason I had to fight with the people writing the checks were twofold. They didn't want to get sued.
Yeah.
So like anything that could create a fall risk or anything like that, no matter how good it made the resident feel, they didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And second, was either money or litigation.
Right.
Sure, you can help her set the table, but it'll take 3 times as long as if you just set it. And it's like, we can afford to spend 15 minutes rather than 5.
Yeah, exactly.
That's costing you how much money?
Yeah.
What, $50 a week to let people let them set the tables?
Yeah, sure.
And in terms of litigation, if you're really, really worried about it, come up with better waivers.
Yeah.
Don't have the answer be to dehumanize them.
Yeah, for sure.
But when and you're lucky you live in Canada, which doesn't mean that all of these things are fixed, but at the very least, because it's government run healthcare, where these government paid for healthcare, you have an outlet other than paying more money.
Yeah, there's a base level for sure.
Well, not only is there a base level, if things aren't going well, you can call. I don't know the Canadian government system well enough. You're equivalent of a congressman. You can vote your conscience when it comes to healthcare.
Yes. Yeah.
In the United States, it's like, oh, no, this is the better way, even though it costs more than anybody else in the world, and we get worse results.
Yeah.
And it's like...
It's not to go political, but it's an interesting thing, and it's not political. It's basic.
It shouldn't be
basic rights.
Right.
I hear a lot of people ask, why are there so many successful Canadian cartoonists? Healthcare. Mm-hmm. We don't need to take the job that gives us the healthcare because healthcare is such a huge expense. People who in the comics industry, they often need other jobs so they can have some health care. Whereas in Canada, we have that safety net.
The single greatest thing that it actually came up, I think yesterday when I was talking to Stephen Frank, the single greatest thing that we could do to increase the arts, to increase the sciences, to increase all sorts of things is just guarantee a minimum standard of living, not even a great standard of living.
Yeah, yeah.
If everybody knew that they were going to have a roof over their head,
yeah,
basic utilities, including communications, so high speed internet, phone service, whatnot, healthcare, and education through college just taken care of.
Yeah, yeah.
Trust me, there would still be people who would be willing to work, but really, two things would happen. You'd have a lot more art and a lot more science because the people who were really inclined towards that could take risks to go into those fields because they knew that they wouldn't die because of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And second, and this is why it doesn't happen and also why it should happen, the guy serving you at McDonald's would have to get paid a lot better.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because he'd absolutely be able to say, this isn't worth that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, like, the United States is the richest country in the world. We could absolutely do that. But at this point, there's enough wealth in the world. There's really no excuse for that not to be the baseline worldwide.
Yeah,
it could be done if we could get our heads out of our asses.
Yeah.
Think of the
done part.
Right. Well, no, I was actually, that popped into my head because I started watching, 55 Years in the Center Chair, the documentary about Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
And one of the reasons that they were multicultural from the beginning was Gene Roddenberry is like, there's no way we start exploring space before the idea that this guy's Russian, this guy's Japanese, and that person's black doesn't matter to us.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Exploring space is going to be a global thing, not a individual nation thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I totally buy it.
Yeah.
Even though Alex Segura, who did he write with? Alex, do you know Alex Segura at all? He does great comics too.
I know his work. Yeah, I don't know him personally.
Yeah, he put out. God, he writes so much because he had Alter Ego come out this year, all sorts of comics, but he also had a sci-fi novel come out. That actually did kind of explore the idea that there were still three Earth powers kind of at odds with each other and interstellar travel.
Right.
And man, did that add an interesting layer. I'll remember the name of it later. Sorry for the complete and total offshoot. I should cheat. And since I know I have the Audible book, why am I going to? But let's take that to, you talked about top shelf stuff and some great names. What are more comics that made you fall in love with the medium, made you more confident that you could tell stories in it, made you look at the medium differently, that sort of thing?
I mean, I started reading a lot of, interestingly, of Canadian cartoonists as well. The guy that introduced me to, like, Seth.
Seth is great.
Mr. Brown. A lot of the Drawn and Quarterly stuff out of Montreal, that wonderful publishing company. And with Seth, it's a sort of I steal a bit of his style for the book I'm actually currently writing. These were things that just showed me different ways you could use panels. And we brought this up earlier. 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank was another one where,
oh my God,
just Tyler was doing panel work. And also just what I loved about so much of the panel stuff, it almost looked like scrolling 2D video game stuff. And I don't know why that type of panel was so effective for me, but it was. And now I'll often write it in and my script, and I'll often put like a panel Tyler did when he was doing that overhead stuff, to take in the sort of geography of the room. That stuff, the sort of pop out close-ups of things of like, oh, and here's the tooth, here's a pop out of the tooth, and here. It was a friend of mine, Jennifer. She's a TV director. She directed a couple episodes of From, that sci-fi show From. I had not heard of Black Mask as a publisher. I none of that, and she introduced me to Four Kids Walk in the Bank into a bank, and I was blown away. And I thought this is it. Where the seeds of that were the top shelf books, Four Kids was, oh, I can do this because here is the book that illustrates how these stories can be told. Even, and that's the other thing too, just the number of panels Tyler uses. Everyone always, artists, editors are always like, oh, you need this, you can't do more than 6 or 7 panels on a page. And then I see Tyler doing 20, 22, and if you'll,
you mean like this one?
Oh my God! I mean that the sort of blueprint stuff, the headshot stuff. So when you go to that headshot stuff of them on the phone conversation, you having read Who Are the Power Pals, the first page of that.
Yep, that's exactly what the first page I went. He's a Tyler Boss fan.
Love you, Tyler. Love you, Matt. I took that when
and they at least kind of borrowed it from Bendis and Powers.
Bendis, exactly, yes. And you know what? I skipped over that part. Bendis and his crime books were huge for me as well, especially because Bendis's storytelling and dialogue is so filmic. It's got that film aspect to it. He's a big film nerd, and being a film guy. We my old film writing partner and I bought, I should say, an old XL1, which is one of those first digital cameras, and we, for camera tests, would take Bendis's some scenes right out of Torso, and we get actors to act them, and that's how we test it, because they were that good for film. Like they're perfect for that. But yeah, I just love Tyler's work.
That's one of my favorite pages.
Yeah.
Particularly because then you go to the next page with the high shot.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
As Walter throws up and you go, oh, trampoline, that makes sense.
So I have the last page of this book I bought the original art for. That last.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I'm a little jealous.
I'm an original art collector.
I wish I was an original art collector. I have one piece so far. I have a page from Stray Bullets by David Lynch.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, I will admit to you, I actually have a Watchmen cover. So I have some. That was
you're in a different league from me
we were talking about comics. So I was a comic collector, and at my peak I think I had 20 in the mid 20s, high 20s of long boxes.
Okay.
And now I have 2. Because I sold that whole collection to get into original art.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's where I started with original art, and I mean this is back in early 2000s I started. So I've been collecting that for 20 years. I've stopped because now I have to pay artists, because now that I'm making books, I need to pay artists to make those books. So Four Kids it was
it's
major.
I mean, I've been showing you the detailed show notes that I put together for way back. It was 22 panels episode. And Silver Coin was one of the honorable mentions that week too. So Michael Walsh there. Way back December of 2021, episode 5.
There you go.
So yeah, and we even put together the 22 panels.
And I probably listened to that podcast
from Four Kids Walk into a Bank.
Yes,
that's one of the things I'm proud of. That I went through and I found the 22 panels, the Wallywood 22 panels.
Oh,
right. My wife to put them together. So I have my.
If you are gracious enough to continue reading Who Are the Power Pals, you're going to see more. You're going to see more.
Oh yeah.
Four Kids influence in there
Oh,
because
I guarantee I'll be gracious enough. I'm hooked. I mean,
it,
you're welcome to send it to me ahead of time, but
yeah,
I'll be paying for it too.
probably will. Yeah, no. So it is a pretty where those top shelf books were kind of the inspirations for Better Place. Four Kids is, I think, probably the only thing I can point to that is a direct influence on this book.
So did you manage to jump on Four Kids coming out single issue or
no.
Okay.
It was done. Yeah, it was done.
See, one of the things I actually even wrote here was, and I went back and found the article so that I could get it right. So it was in February of 2017, I saw the headline at the Nerdist that said, "Four Kids Walk into a Bank is Wes Anderson meets Reservoir Dogs," and immediately went, I need that. I must have that book.
Yeah. No,
and
for sure.
And then it actually took forever to start coming out.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't know, and they even joke. They joke about that, how delayed it was. I had no knowledge of any of that. I read it in trade. I now have some issues because
I have all of the original issues. I have extra covers of a number of the Matt and Tyler have made me buy more additional covers of things than anybody else has ever pulled off.
That's the worst. He's
I think I have 7 different number ones of What's the Furthest Place from Here.
Yes.
Even though I only intended to buy one.
Yeah.
It seemed like every time I went back to the comic shop or I was in a different comic shop, I'd see another one that went like, must go home.
Yeah. And so
I mean, they got Bendis to draw a cover.
Yes.
Bendis hadn't drawn anything in 10 years, and they got him to do a cover.
And I have one piece of Bendis art. It's the toe tag cover to Torso, one of the Torso issues.
Oh, nice.
And I actually went to a con, and I had him draw in the toe tag his sort of Fortune and Glory face, like the way he draws himself.
Okay.
Yeah, and I drew that like right in the tag, and he's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, I want you to do that."
It's all your art.
But yeah,
it just made it cooler.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm not going to sell it, so I don't. He's worried about defacing. Like, no, it's mine. I want it like this. So yeah, Matt and his cover. So as an original art collector, like I have a bunch of Furthest Place covers because I thought, it's cool to have this artist do this, but he has like 10 artists to cover. It's like it's impossible,
and they're all good. So at this point, I have to essentially, I will only buy extra covers if there's some sort of sale at the website.
Yeah, which he does fairly often.
Yeah, so like when it was $25 to get the connecting map covers, it's like, okay, I'm getting the connecting map covers now.
Yeah, are you a fan of the connecting map covers?
I am.
Uh-oh.
You have the original?
I do.
All of them?
Yes.
Wow.
So what?
What? I think they told me that somebody had bought all of the originals. Yeah. You're the one.
I'm the one. So I saw them and I'm like, I need that. And it was Tyler's wife Courtney that did them.
Right.
And so what they did was they actually taped them all and soft mounted them on a board, so they're all already connected together on one.
Oh wow.
I don't have it framed yet, but and I don't frame a lot of my art. Unfortunately, is inside like folders and art.
Right.
I only have like four or five pieces framed, but that's I need to get it framed. It's going to cost me a lot to get it framed because it's big.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my wife knows how to do framing stuff.
Oh wow!
So invite us to Canada.
There you go.
We got to go get our passports now. Post 9/11.
Yeah.
Last time I went to Canada, I didn't need a passport. All I needed was a driver's license.
Yeah, but if you drove across the border, you could get away with that.
And for that matter, only the driver needed to show their driver's license.
Yeah, they peek in the window. Like, they're fine. That's yeah. I remember those days.
Yeah, what I in another lifetime, before the lifetime where I was the dementia unit director, I worked for Best Buy for a long time.
Okay.
And a period of that, I was working on what they called the project team. So we do like store resets, remodels, open new stores, that sort of thing. And we're doing a major remodel in Novi, Michigan. But Detroit, particularly at the time, was not nearly as interesting as Windsor.
Right.
And we discovered that the casino would give you $1.66 Canadian
Right.
for $1 American. And at the border, it was being exchanged at like $1.28 to $1.
Yeah.
So we would take all of our per diem, it was like a 3-week thing that we got given our per diem in advance. We'd take all of our per diem, change it all at the casino, go out and spend like $200 on like steak dinners, whatever.
Yeah.
Change the money back at the border,
right,
and have more money than we walked into the country with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we I think it was a trip where I think we started with like close to $700 in per diem. And despite the fact that we lived it up every night in Windsor, I think all of us went home with more than $1,000 in cash.
And still had a great time.
By changing our money at the casino and not gambling.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing.
Worst case scenario, they'd make us take some of it in chips, and we'd just walk over to another window and cash the chips.
Exactly, yeah.
But that was the last time I went to Canada, because now I need we thought about it on our honeymoon because we were in Niagara Falls, and then we remembered that you had to have a passport to get across.
Yeah. Now
you know.
Yeah.
So one of these days I'll go get a passport. I've never actually had a passport.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've done all my traveling stateside, except for a little bit of time in Canada.
Well, if your president has his way, it will become a state. So, it's.
See, I saw a great video that made it look very official looking, but I'm certain it wasn't official Canada. But essentially inviting migrants from the United States of other than those weird states to come join Canada, either as individuals or as whole states.
That was Elizabeth May, and she is the leader of an official political party. She may even have a seat. The party is not a very strong party, but she might have a seat. It's our Green Party, basically.
Okay.
And
it was an older guy in this video.
Then I don't know. Yeah,
I think it was recent because the way he was talking, it was definitely a response to the whole.
Okay. Because Elizabeth May did the same thing from actual Parliament. She's like, "Hey, California. Hey, New York. Hey, Chicago."
Yeah, I mean,
come on.
Honestly, I mean, here's the crazy thing. Like, the politicians in power in the United States are so dumb that I'm pretty certain that large numbers of them would be happy to let red or blue states secede.
Right.
Not realizing that the blue states are the tax base.
Yeah.
I could see a situation where, like, California up to the border,
right?
New York up to the border, Minnesota, Michigan, and Illinois, and maybe even Wisconsin all join Canada. And by the time anybody in the Republican Party realized that it would completely wreck the U.S. economy, it would be like Brexit.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, there are consequences to our actions?
Right. Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I hope that you don't have to deal with it the way we do. You get to look down and laugh. The things that come out of our elected officials' mouths are sometimes.
I mean, we're getting some of the same, unfortunately, on our end. So,
but they're not in power.
Not yet. But we're getting there.
I know. Well, I hope that you won't. I hope that your general population is much smarter than that.
I think it has to be more about caring enough or having it affect people's lives enough for people to care enough to vote. Like Canada's voter
Yeah.
turnout is generally terrible. It's
Right.
often, I don't know. I think a good year might be in the 30s, like 30%.
Okay.
Like we're sometimes in the high 20. It can be pretty bad.
Right.
So there has to be a genuine outpouring of, and that's the thing, because we have these safety nets and we've had these our way of life for so long. People are generally, I think, comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not the fear of, oh my God, if this person does this, everyone is basically, don't we have we have crises, we have
Right.
mental crises, we have all this, but I think because in general we have a general class of people that are relatively comfortable. There's a bit more apathy in
Yep.
terms of going
No,
out and voting, because
that
they think,
sounds
well,
like the
life's
United States
basically fine.
in my lifetime. So this is what I'll tell you. If you see a Reagan,
Yeah.
you need to start running ringing the warning bells really, really loud.
Yeah.
Because that's where it started. It started with Reagan. It kind of started with Nixon, but where it really started was Reagan.
Right.
Because Nixon, it could have started with Nixon, but the country went, fuck no. You want to do what? You want to commit crimes and get away with it? No.
Yeah.
But there was a portion of the Republican Party that went, he shouldn't have resigned. We shouldn't have let him resign. And by Reagan, they'd started to take over the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And then like Reagan came up with the myth of the welfare mother, which was really just a way to make you go, oh my God, they're taking my tax dollars and giving it to black people who don't deserve it.
Mm.
But no, it was really a way to, let's lower the taxes on the people who, they pay so much taxes. The top tax rate is 90% on dollars over 1 million that they make in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Poor them.
Yeah.
And very quickly we started to see erosion of government services, and particularly in the states that went along with it. And we went from a 90% top marginal tax rate to like a 20% top marginal tax rate in my lifetime.
Right.
But it starts out with a lot of things that seem reasonable being sold by smarmy snake oil salesmen before it gets to the obvious Newt Gingrich or George W. Bush or Donald Trump, whichever layer of them is the one that became obvious to you.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, there's lots of comics for that. So again, if you see it coming, start giving March to all of your friends. Start giving.
Yes.
Save It for Later, one of Nate Powell's more recent books, is absolutely.
I love Save It for Later.
Save It for Later is one of my favorite books, period.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get off politics. And I feel like we're getting to a good wrap up point. Unless you had something else you wanted to plug, because I'm all for talking longer. I just don't like to bore people.
Yeah, no.
Mostly, I don't want to bore you.
No, I don't. I'm good. I can talk forever about all this.
Okay. Well, then my wrap up question is one that isn't necessarily a quick wrap up question. If you can talk forever, you can go on this one. Tell me something that you love, preferably a comic, but it's not required. Like Matt Rosenberg will always give me a comic and a movie, at least sometimes multiple comics and multiple movies. Stephen Frank always gives me some music along with some people will toss in a book.
Right.
Something that you love, or some things, I don't want to limit you, that not enough other people have experienced, read, listened to, watched, whatever, and you need them to, because you want to be able to talk to more people about it.
Comics wise, I think I mentioned before, I'm working on a graphic novel now, and Better Place graphic novel Power Pals individual comics. I miss doing a complete story in one book, so I'm working on a graphic novel now. No, nothing. I haven't pitched it yet or anything, but I'm
Right.
And it is one of the inspirations for it was a book called Maggie Garrison.
Ah,
You know Maggie Garrison?
Trondheim.
Yeah.
Louis Trondheim.
I think that is a fantastic book that I've heard very few people ever mention, and it's one of my favorite.
No, I agree with you. It's another one that I totally agree with you.
I love the I love the story. I love the protagonist, because that's the book I'm working on is kind of a middle-aged woman, fighting against the system just to keep her head above water, and then is dragged into this kind of mystery. And I read that, and I love again, like Tyler with 4 kids, like they're not afraid to use 13 panels on a page, and I love the color, because the colors, again, with 4 kids, I'm a man of simple taste. The flat colors, I love the flat colors. Power Pals has very flat colors, and I love seeing books like that. And Maggie Garrison is another one that has just very flat colors. And if I don't think a lot of people have read that book. And
no, it's
Self-Made Hero, I think publishes it.
Yeah, Self-Made Hero, which is a British company.
Yes.
And both Trondheim and Stefan Ulrich are Paris-based.
Yes.
And, Tyler and I have tried to make certain that we read more and talk about more, but as fractured as the U.S. comic market is already, between like superhero, independent genre stuff, graphic novel versus issues, etc., and people who love comics don't necessarily love manga. Right. People who love manga don't. There's way too little appreciation for European comics in the United States.
Yeah.
And this one's a good one.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites, and I really, if you like a
grounded, have to go reread it now.
Grounded storytelling with sort of crazy things happening, that's what it is. And from the art to the panel breakdowns to the colors, it's a book that I go to over and over when if I'm feeling stuck, if I'm feeling, I looked at that book and like, what did they do? What did
right.
Yeah. I mean, Essex County is one of my favorite books. Never mind graphic novels, one of my favorite books. But I feel like that may be, I don't know, has everyone come around on that already? Because there's still associated Black Hammer.
Two things. First, I didn't say that like not enough people in general. Right. Not enough people that you get to talk to. So if you don't have enough people to talk to about it, it counts.
Right.
But second, this is where I'm going to point out that like the answer Nate Powell gave me the last time, just because it had been so long since he'd been in that world, was Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. So we've got a really wide.
Yeah.
No, I don't think enough people appreciate early Jeff Lemire.
No,
I'm constantly telling people about Trillium. Trillium is one of my favorite books ever, and one of my favorite books by him. And totally underappreciated.
One of my framed pieces of art.
Oh,
the last splash page from.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I agree. Trillium is a very underrated. But yeah, it's. To me,
he doesn't do enough sci-fi, because when he does sci-fi, it's like, I mean, two of my favorite things from him are Trillium and Sentient.
Oh, Sentient is great. Yeah. That's another one. Because of who published it, that kind of went under the radar too. Because he had a big splash with those first 6 books, and then, but I don't think are they still publishing? I forget. TKO. That's it. TKO.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great book.
Yeah.
I loved another one, the Jeff Lemire's The Nobody. So
I haven't read that in a while.
Yeah, that's another great one.
That one I think might be out of print.
I think it is. He was giving it away as a PDF on his Substack.
Okay.
For a bit, and so I think it is out of print. And then in terms of those guys that had everyone knows them for other things, Matt Kint's 3-story.
I love 3-story.
Secret History of Giant Man is another. I just think it's such a beautiful book. I absolutely love that book.
Though I think my favorite lesser known Matt Kint is Red Handed.
I love Red-Handed is so underrated. I love that book. You're a good friend of mine. She's the one who recommended 4 Kids. Her favorite Matt Kint book is Red-Handed as well.
Yeah. For me, it's between Red-Handed and Mind Management.
Right.
Mind Management is his magnum opus.
Right. Yeah.
I did a book club with Mind Management, so my 3 copies of Mind Management have like 1,000 Post-it notes in them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But Red-Handed is like the small town version of Mind Management.
Yeah, it's
really just as complicated of a web.
Yes.
It's just not global.
And
in some ways, that's even more impressive.
Yeah. No, you're right. I love that book. There's a piece of art from that I had over my writing desk, and it was like pieces of things put together, and I think it said in the shadow of giants create something beautiful or something like that.
Okay.
And that was above my writing desk for a long time. Yeah, because those are those books in the early to mid 2000s that brought me around to comics not just being genre,
not just being superheroes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, yeah, I know. And now it's like, and now I'm just trying to even find stuff like that's not horror. Now it just feels like every second book is a horror book that's not a superhero book.
Okay,
so I'm always looking out for those sort of heartfelt, which is what with Rosenberg stuff. It's got that. It's funny. It's heartfelt.
So I need to toss this out really quickly.
Yeah.
Not only does Jeff have the Nobody available for download on his Substack, it is not behind a paywall.
There you go.
So the links will be in the show notes when I get around to doing them.
And his great take on the Invisible Man is basically that is this I don't think it's been solicited yet, but I'm going to say it anyway. The 4th issue of Power Pals, the variant cover, Jeff was going to do for me, but he was too busy. So I got Sean from Better Place to do it.
You mean between drawing his own book and writing Absolute Flash and
7 other books and biography for Dark Horse, all that's exactly.
Right.
So Sean Daly did homages the Nobody cover for me.
Okay.
It's great. It's great.
Very cool. The Secret History. I got to finish writing my stuff, so I have it for the Secret History of the Giant Man. There we go. That's a good. I mean, you didn't stump me, but not a lot of people wind up stumping me.
No, I can't imagine. I thought maybe Maggie Garrison would have got you. That's one.
I like Lou. It might have, except that Chris Schweizer turned me on to Louis Trondheim.
Okay.
Like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And there's not enough Trondheim available in English, so I tend to jump on it.
Right. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Because I'm enough of a word guy that I have trouble just getting the stuff to enjoy the art if I can't read the words.
Yeah.
Though I have occasionally bought things in other languages and used Google Translate, particularly because Google Translate has gotten exponentially better.
Yeah.
Since they applied machine learning to it. Which is even before they started talking about AI.
Yeah, exactly.
There were a handful of us that noticed that Google Translate got exponentially better overnight about 5 years ago.
It's funny because Better Place is now in 4 languages. English, French, Portuguese, Spanish.
Okay.
And so I'll occasionally find whether it be a social media post or a review, and I have to run it through Google. Like, did they like it or not like it? I have no idea.
Right.
They'll do a heart emoji, a bunch of words, and then a frown emoji. I'm like, what's
So
that? I don't know what's that.
I know a couple of people who've done translations of things. One who translates things from English into Portuguese, and one who translates things from French into English. But I haven't, and I keep meaning to get them both together on an episode together, but I don't think I've really talked to anybody about like what level of involvement do you have or feel like taking when you have your book translated?
Yeah.
Because obviously, I'm assuming you don't know the three other languages, so like,
And I had zero say. Like, it's not like I
okay, so you don't have any say at all.
none.
Okay,
Like, I don't know some of the colloquialisms.
so they could make it say something completely different, and you wouldn't know,
no idea.
or have any say. You wouldn't be able to say, no, he's not supposed to say "fuck you, Grandpa."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and so
That would be a swear jar thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's like some of the like. I'm assuming there's some very North American things in there that they need to just sort of find their version of that, and I'd be so curious to know.
No, I need to get the translators together to have that conversation someday, just because I'm fascinated. Because I figured out a long time ago how important translation can be, because like my favorite prose book of all time, and of course, because I'm me, it happens to have pictures, is The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. And I remember when the new, better translation came out in like 2000, something like that, the blue cover rather than the white cover. Catherine Woods, I now know, is the translator of the original one, and I won't buy copies that aren't translated by Catherine Woods because I'm like, okay, I'll get the new translation. And I start reading it, and I'm like, this is flat.
Right.
All the whimsy is gone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, literally, on like page 1, it has one of my favorite lines, you know, grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it's tiresome for children to always and forever be explaining things to them.
Yeah.
And it was retranslated as grown-ups don't understand, and it's hard for children to explain things to them. And I'm like, no, that's not the line. That's nowhere near the line. What's more is Exupéry was alive for the original translation.
Right.
And bilingual.
Right.
So, you know, which is, I mean, I get fascinated by things like, I don't know if you know Amanda Gorman, the poet. She was the poet laureate, the first teen poet laureate to do an inauguration. She did the poem at Biden's inauguration.
Yes.
And her first book is outstanding. Right. And I remember that there was a huge, and I don't actually remember how it played out, but there was a huge to-do because like the Finnish translation or something was being done by a young Finnish poet that wasn't black. And Gorman was okay with it because Gorman's like, I love their poetry.
Right.
And having a non-poet
yeah.
translate poetry doesn't strike me as a good idea. But other people were like, no, this is a distinctively black voice. You have to make certain that. And while I understand that argument, unless you can find somebody who understands poetry well enough and understands Finnish, English, and is black, which seems to be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite poets is Wisława Szymborska, who's Polish, won the Nobel Prize in, I want to say 1997. It was a year after Seamus Heaney. That much I remember. But there's massive difference in how much I like her poetry based on the translation.
Yeah.
You know, because poetry has a rhythm to it.
Yeah, it's a major thing. I the difference in translation. So you know, hopefully all the translations are good. And
yeah, I mean, maybe I'll have to have you come when I because it's Chris Cicada, who is a co-owner of Lion's Tooth in Milwaukee, and translates books into Portuguese.
Nice.
including she got to translate Love and Rockets into Portuguese.
Oh, wow.
Right. And Matt Madden, who do you know Matt Madden's work?
I know the name. I know that
Oh,
name.
Matt Madden and his wife Jessica Abel are both teach
Okay.
comics.
Yes, yes.
But they wrote drawing words and writing pictures is like
I have it. I haven't read it yet, but it's on my bedside. I just got it
Oh,
like 2 months ago.
it's amazing. Amazing. His newest book is called Six Treasures of the Spiral.
Okay.
And it's all about making comics using constraints.
Oh, okay.
So like it's, and for that matter, Matt's probably most famous for a book called it's taken from I forget what the name of it, the Elements of Style.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 99 Ways to Tell a Story, and he takes the same one-page story.
Yes, I know that.
Draws it 99 different ways.
Yes, I don't have it anymore, but because I lived in small apartments and had to purge.
No, I get it.
I didn't have that book. Yeah, I had that.
Book. We had a fascinating conversation with him. But I want to bring them back but if I do, I might have to since one of them's Portuguese, I might have to say, hey, do you happen to have a digital copy of your Portuguese version? Let's have the Portuguese translator come tell you what some pages say.
So curious. Yeah, I have no idea, but it's very cool. I mean, it's very cool to have it out there.
And that's one of the things I love about comics is that like every part matters. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a little bit of a hierarchy in terms of who can ruin a book.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think the writer has the most power for a book to make a book bad.
Right.
Though the artist is close.
Well, it's funny.
I think the artist actually has the most power to make a book good, though the writer is close.
Yeah. An artist can absolutely save a book and can elevate a book. For me, I mean, the part of the job as a writer is sort of the same as a director in a film, in the sense of a director. If you cast well and you have the right DP, that's 80% of the film.
Right.
And same as a writer, it's like, well, I'm gonna find the best people that make me look better than I am.
Though that's often the editor job too.
Right. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why people like Shelley Bond are so important.
Right.
It's they not only discovered the talent, they managed to go, you would work really well with you.
Yeah. I'm very curious because I've only done so far in my short little career, it's all creator owned. So I'm doing that stuff. I'd love to know if someone thinks there are certain artists out there who would pair up with me. Like I'd be curious to know what that looks like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll tell you that there are a number of very good freelance editors out there.
Right.
You know, Miss Bond can be hired. Heather Antos can be hired. Michelle Albaneder can be hired.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously they wouldn't necessarily be looking at everybody everywhere, but they'd certainly be thinking, they'd look at your script and they'd think of who they knew.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, one of the Kickstarters that we've been talking about lately is there's a book coming up where they took one script and gave it to 4 different artists. You know, so we get to see, you know, Shelley put out a series she's got her editing trilogy. The third one just finished this Kickstarter, so it hasn't come out. But I think it was in the second one where she took the same pencils and gave it to 4 different inkers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you've got 4 like really surprisingly different results.
Yeah.
From being handed the same set of pencils.
There's a is it Hero Initiative? There's a charitable organization that does, and I forget what they call it, but there's an auction they do where it's that sort of thing. They'll take a blue line of a piece and they'll have 30 inkers do their version of it and then auction them off.
Okay. I mean, Hero Initiative does. Oh, wait a minute. Hero Initiative, the 100 cover book project.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that.
No, that's a different one.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember who did it. I don't think it was. It might have been a specific con, like a Comic Con, and it was their sort of charitable arm that would do
But
it.
but I mean, Hero Initiative is at a lot of cons too, and often has something. I mean, so it wouldn't rule out the possibility that it could still be them just by being at a con. I'm flipping through the stuff they have available right now because that might tell me. Don't know what their 100 project is. They seem to have lots of different 100 projects. But I don't know what it means. But yeah, no, that sounds like a fantastic
Really
way
wild.
to
Like,
raise money.
yeah,
And I'm all for any and all people who raise money for. I mean, the Hero Initiative. I've known people who have benefited from the Hero Initiative
oh,
because,
right.
as we've talked about a couple of times, comics doesn't pay that well.
No, no. In some cases, they don't pay at all.
Right. Comics doesn't pay that well, and when you go back in time, not only did it not pay well, but they didn't get to keep their original art. They didn't
No
own any of
royalties.
their stories.
Yeah, yeah,
So there are a lot of people who are responsible for massive amounts of the things that we love that, like, if they've got health bills, have problems.
yeah, yeah.
And that's one of the things that the Hero Initiative helps out a lot with
Right.
is, when various, I think they help out stores too, but they primarily creators and whatnot, if they run into financial hardship for one reason or another, can apply for grants.
Right.
I don't know the entire process. I need to have somebody from the Hero Initiative on at some point because I am really curious to find out more about that. I always talk to them some at cons because it's such a close-knit industry. I mean, I'm certain you're discovering that pretty quickly that, like, everybody knows everybody likes everybody. There aren't many jerks.
Yeah,
Not saying
yeah.
there are no jerks,
Yeah.
but even the jerks try to keep, for the most part, keep their jerk stuff away from the industry.
Right.
Occasionally they're jerks in the industry, but there's a lot more where they're jerks to people who are either tangential or not really in the industry at all.
Right. Yeah.
Because relationships are necessary in this industry.
Yeah.
There's not enough money to work with an artist that you don't want to work with.
No.
And you can't be jerks to fans because too often you have to sell by hand over the table at the con.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't like. Why would you like? I don't know. I'm anytime anyone is putting down their money, and they're expensive now. So if anyone wants to buy whatever it is I'm making,
they're expensive now, and arguably they're still cheap. I mean, this is an argument that I have with Shelley every time she comes on to do a Kickstarter because she can't bring herself to charge enough for the books that she makes.
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, well, who would pay that? I'm like, look at the other stuff on Kickstarter. People understand that when you're on Kickstarter, they're paying you.
Yeah.
They're not looking for value in that, oh, wow, I got this great, huge thing for very little money. They're looking for value in that I paid a reasonable amount to get something awesome from somebody that I like, and they got paid.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Just like I've had arguments with people. No, don't shut down your Patreon because you've been so busy with life and health issues and whatnot that you haven't managed to post anything on it. Doesn't that mean you need the money more? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, yes, but you need the money more, but you're not. Well, but I'm not giving them any for it. And I'm like, if you really think that we're all put up one thing that says, hey, I'm going through some stuff. If you want me to pause your payments for a month, I will.
Yeah.
If you don't, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
Yeah.
Don't stop taking my money because you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what happens when you have artists in charge of money. And that's also how they get ripped off through the years by the people with the money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've worked in film. You really see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
You know, yeah, the film industry, I feel like, and it was briefly upended in the 90s by Miramax until Disney bought them.
Yeah.
You know, the film industry is always ripe for one small company that's willing to break even rather than make billions to completely upend the industry.
Then it was A24 for a while.
Right.
They were losing money for a while and making some of the best films out there.
Right. Right. But if you work on the smaller budget and
yeah,
if you go, okay, we're not making $100 million movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're making $15 to $30 million movies. And if you break even, we'll make your next movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every once in a while we'll have a Pulp Fiction.
And I was coming from like a film I wrote with my old writing partner called Red Rover. It's on Tubi. We made that movie for $20,000.
Those Clerks range.
Yeah, exactly. I made 3 Clerks range movies in a row. That for
and the yet still had comic books left to sell for art.
Well, yeah, I know. And that is it's for the love of the thing, but I cannot do that anymore. It's so in the film industry to do that level of independent filmmaking is so hard now. For a while it was nice and easy, and we had, Sundance that was your lottery ticket. Like there was a chance maybe Sundance would show an indie film. Sundance isn't showing indie films anymore. Like not truly indie films anymore. And Slam Dance is barely even doing that. So I got out.
Toronto not as much.
No, God, no.
Not as much. Right.
I am. I love TIFF. I was a TIFF producer. I went through a lot of their development programs. That is now it's a Cannes equivalent. It's a market festival. It's not an independent festival that's showing new cool movies. It's where the studios show their award contenders, and they get all the best slots and yeah. And
they pay a lot of money for that. So, I mean, I get it, but it's still like, so where's the little guy supposed to go?
The little guy now goes to Red Rover premiered at Austin. The Austin Film Festival was a great festival.
Is that tied to South by Southwest, or is that a separate thing?
No, it's its own thing, and it's more writers focused. They generally have a writers screenwriting conference alongside of it with very big names. No, South by is another one. South by, when it started, was a sort of Sundance competitor, and then they had the music side of it, and then it exploded to
music and movies, and then as soon as it explodes, it's. I mean, I don't like to say that it's not cool anymore because I always hated in high school the people who would talk about their favorite band selling out, and I'm like, wait a minute, they don't have to work at Walmart in between tours anymore, so you're calling them a sellout? Really? That's what you want? You want your favorite musicians to not eat?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Because I know people, sort of look at a thing a comic or something that gets optioned by them, and people are like, oh, look. And I'm like, that is amazing. That means they actually maybe got some money because they sure as hell didn't get any for the comic. So it's great that they pocket that option money. And then if something like 4 Kids and then it goes into production, well, now you're getting a production bonus.
Yeah.
So I know Matt and Tyler got even a little bit more money for that, and I say good for them.
Yep.
I think that's
yeah. I mean, the example I always use is, do you know the Badly Drawn Boy?
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard a Badly Drawn Boy song in a Target commercial, and my immediate response was, "Woohoo! Damon's getting paid."
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Because It is. It's so hard to actually make money as an artist of
Yes,
any
it
kind.
is. Yes. Yes.
Um,
I support myself, or did support myself more so through acting in
mhm.
things, which included commercial voiceovers. Um,
Actually, that's what we haven't talked about at all. I wanted to say on air, you got to work with Aaron Sorkin.
yes,
And
very lucky.
I want him to write a comic book someday.
It'd be wordy. It'd be very wordy.
I'm okay with that.
I'm wordy. I'm the same. So yeah, it would be.
I mean, that
Kevin
means
Smith
that it's
Daredevil
down
around
to
it.
the editor and the artist to spread it out rather than
Yeah,
having it be wordy on one page.
yeah, yeah,
Which is, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, the guy who famously said about his West Wing scripts, talk faster.
yeah, yeah,
To me, that's why comics is his medium, because
yeah,
they don't have to talk faster. They can just do more pages.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just do more pages.
Yeah, it was very, it was very cool. I did a couple auditions, and then the last callback was with him in the room,
Okay.
and it sort of dawned on me after the fact. After I did that, I was like, I'm going to say Aaron Sorkin words, like they're going to come out of my mouth.
Right.
I'm the one saying them, and it's an incredible experience. And I knew with his stuff is like I'm just going to do this quick and fast. I'm not going to
So,
overact it. I'm just going to get
yep.
through it because I know that's what he
Yep.
likes.
So one of my formerly favorite comic writers that no longer gets named used to have, and still has, but he used to use it even more. Email mailing list where you just send out random things, right? And he got a sneak peek, and it was floating around the internet. So as soon as he wrote about it, I went and found it too, and agreed with him. But the message that he shot out over his mailing list was just, and we already knew he was a Sorkin fan, but he said, just read pilot script of Studio 60, nearly gave up writing.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I want to break that man's hands.
Yes. Yes. It's how I
And
felt after Eternal
go ahead.
Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Charlie Kaufman. I walked out of that film thinking, why bother? Why bother doing this?
I'm in a minority that I didn't love that film.
There you go.
But I think part of it comes from my work in healthcare. And the fact that I'm looking at that and going, what people aren't thinking about with this film is if they get as far as they got in this film, it means all healthcare regulation has broken down.
Yes. Yeah.
All healthcare regulation is broken down.
Yes.
And therefore, the world we're seeing would be way more dystopic than what they're showing.
That's a horror film. No, it's a horror film.
And it was all I could think about. I mean, I got why people liked it, but
yeah,
I couldn't.
Yeah,
and particularly because I watched as part of I watched it relatively recently for the first time. I kind of deliberately skipped it for a long time. And everybody else it was like a movie discussion group. Everybody else liked it, and I understood why they liked it and whatnot. But two things. First, the only thing that everybody else didn't like is they're like, I can't believe that the healthcare professionals acted so unprofessionally. Specifically, the people that were like messing around at the house while they were. Yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The lowest paid people here doing the most boring job here, and you're shocked that they were drinking and smoking and messing around?
Yeah.
What world do you guys live in? That was like the most realistic part of the movie. But yeah, I just had trouble because I'm like, the fact that there's only a little bit of talk about the ethical issues here and like no government oversight whatsoever is just a really, really bad sign for humanity.
How are you watching Severance? The
I
show.
haven't yet.
Okay, because you might have that's another show I think is wonderful, but you could say has the same issues.
Right. And I go back and forth on how much those things wind up bothering me. It depends on how well you do them. And really, it's just, I think I talked a little bit off the air about how I primarily do audiobooks now.
Yeah.
I guess it was early on because it was after we talked about Duane Moore rather than Duane Murray.
Yes.
I'm kind of the same way with movies. I just have trouble focusing on them long enough.
Mm-hmm.
They're great background noise.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at stopping and watching a movie.
I used to watch 4 or 5 movies a week easily. And now I can't get through a movie. And part of that is I'm in my 50s, but have a 7-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And so I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And I can't. I need 3 nights to get through a 2-hour movie. It took me 3 nights to get through Dune. So that's one where everyone's like, "Oh my God, Dune's amazing." I'm like, I couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I couldn't get into it. It was a mini series. It took me 3 nights, and it felt like it was 5 nights. So I don't know. Like it's.
Well, and I also read a couple thousand pages of comics a week.
Yeah.
Partially because I just love to, and partially because I like to be able to talk about them on this little podcast that doesn't have a ton of listeners, but we have a ton of output, and most of it's evergreen. So I mean,
yeah.
The most fun thing for me is when I'll get my weekly podcast thing from Buzzsprout, and it'll say you had 300 downloads this week, and I'm used to there being 50 downloads in a week, right? Yeah. Something like that. And I'm like, okay, so where in the world do we have a new listener? Because always it means that somebody discovered us and downloaded one of 300 episodes.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I can tell you that I have somebody who downloaded a lot of episodes in Germany and somebody in Brazil that downloaded a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
It's always fun. On top of getting to work with Sorkin, you also Essex County, which now is obvious because we've talked about the Jeff Lemire, that sort of thing.
Yes.
But you were in, and I'm currently have students reading this book that I assist them with their reading and writing. Fahrenheit 451.
Yes. Yeah.
On HBO, you had a part in, and another one of my favorite books, and I want to know if you know the comic connection to this book. You were in The Time Traveler's Wife.
I was in The Time Traveler's Wife. I don't know the comic connection to that book. Did Audrey Neffenegger do a comic?
Actually, Audrey Neffenegger has done a comic with her husband, who's done a lot of comics.
Who's her husband?
She's married to Eddie Campbell.
Is she really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I had no idea of.
They're Chicagoans, so I see them at the
that's so funny.
At the Small Press Chicago Con every year.
Because From Hell is another sort of I
Hell.
go back to at least once a year. I go back to From Hell.
Have you done his master edition of that?
Is that the colored one?
Yeah.
I it's kind of like the Beatles' White Album.
Do it. No.
I would buy it because I have 4 versions of it.
You still should.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's different from somebody colorized it because he colored it.
Right.
Second, he re-inked most of it, or at least all of the parts that he wasn't happy with.
Yeah.
It is his definitive edition,
right?
And it is fucking gorgeous.
I bet it is. Yeah, Why
I have them in single issues. I have the hardcover signed by him.
I don't know why that wasn't in a comp box from Top Shelf for me. Why don't they just send me?
I don't know. You're gonna have to give Staros a hard time.
Yeah, I should.
Or come down to Chicago for cake.
Yeah,
Eddie will be there. He always is.
I love Chicago pizza. I love I love me a deep dish Chicago pizza.
Well, I will take you out for deep dish Chicago pizza if you come down for cake. If you table, that's great. If you don't, we can just go. You're not allergic to cats, which means I could probably even put you up.
There you go. I told myself I want 3 books before I start doing shows, and that's I'm cheating because I'm doing Toronto Comic Con next month. It's my first table. I'm tabling as a creator for the first time, and people have asked me. I've always like I need 3 books. Once I have 3 books, I'll feel better about that, and then I'll.
Well, but here's what I'm gonna say, and like I'm not gonna tell you not to do Toronto Comic Con, but cake is more like TCAF.
Oh, which is amazing. I mean, it's my favorite show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cake is the Chicago version of TCAF, not the version of. And I would actually argue that anybody who's got 1 book should absolutely be looking for small shows that they can do, because that's how you actually build an audience that's looking for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true.
Rather than just browsing the comic shop.
Yeah, which is what I know. Toronto Comic Con, it was luck in the sense that it's happening the weekend before the first issue of Power Pals comes out.
Right.
So for me, it's just promo.
Oh yeah,
behind a table.
Oh no, I get that.
Postcards at people.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And if you get lucky, Dark Horse will give you a stack that you can sell.
That's what I'm hoping.
It wouldn't be the first time that something's debuted. Last year at C2E2, Jim Terry had a stack of Deathstalker #1. That he did with Tim Seeley at Vault, I think a week before it came out.
So I printed these as a preview.
Oh wow!
You
put the wizard one half.
I did a wizard one. So I made a wizard one half. So what this is, I sent it to like stores. I sent it to stores as my preview.
I have a store. It's the 22 panels. Tad buys everything for himself store. You can send me one.
I've got so what this is actually the reason I made it a wizard half is this is actually the pitch. This is the pitch.
Oh, wow.
We sent to Dark Horse. This was the cover. And we did 6 interior pages, and Ahmed redrew all of this, so it's been all redrawn. And then I have the actual thing at the back. Yeah, so I thought it'd be funny to make a wizard, especially because this has Power Pals taught. It's
I mean,
the
90s. If you had a lot of those would sell like hotcakes at a con.
I only printed 100. I might do another print run just for. But yeah, so I sent them out to stores in the U.S. and some stores in Canada, and I'm hoping that people at least just got a kick out of it. The wizard half was what I loved the most about doing it. And I put the old school Dark Horse.
I saw that. Oh,
so it's got that 90s feel to it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Actually, the old school Dark Horse is part of how I got out of superhero comics, because obviously not out of superhero comics. I still read my share, but my favorite comics of all time when I was 17, and still pretty high on my list, was Frank Miller's run on Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Born Again. And
so I discovered 300 came out when I think it was 97 or 98. And because 300 came out, I then discovered Sin City. And then I started looking at more Dark Horse stuff. Right. And I started looking at more Vertigo stuff. And that was just the time where Image was starting to do more writer-driven rather than the art stuff. You had J. Michael Straczynski's Joe's Comics at the time. So like Midnight Nation and
Rising
Stars, right?
Yeah, I love that stuff.
And that's how I got back into comics for good.
Yeah.
I mean, I fell out of single issue comics when my son was born because, money.
Yeah. Yeah. And space.
And I got
space.
Yeah. Well, space is still a problem.
Yeah.
My wife's way happier when I spend money on digital comics than physical comics.
I know. I've gone more that way as well. I just don't have the space. I don't know. And so I'm down to like two long boxes, and then some just. I have a little short box beside my chair here where I keep very special issues, and then all of the Furthest Place record first
Yep,
press,
I have those too.
all those. Yeah, I keep. This is my special. I got a little special box here, but
Yeah, I haven't come anywhere near two short box or two long
too long
boxes.
box. Yeah,
I think I'm at like probably 50 short boxes and probably another 10 or 20 long boxes on top of that.
is that all? Is that all single issues, or is that trades as well? 'Cause
No, that's just the single issues.
just
I have
single
a
issues, okay.
massive book. I have a massive bookshelf that I just built
Right.
that I don't even know if it will actually hold all my trades.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still working on putting them up onto it. But where I was going with the acting, and
Yeah.
there's a comic tie to it too. First, I've become good friends with Christopher Cantwell through comics. So I've become more interested in making films because half the time when he can't text, it's because he's busy filming stuff.
Yeah.
But also I'm friends with Bob Sikoriak, who publishes through Drawn and Quarterly. Came up through Raw, was an editor for Francois Moulet and Art Spiegelman. And he did the art for Tom Hanks' book. Tom Hanks' novel is called the Making of the Next Motion Picture Masterpiece, I think. And is essentially a fictional behind the scenes look at like a brilliant but sometimes troubled director who has to adapt a superhero movie because that's the gig that he can get and working on it. But really more than that, it's like about the inner workings of making a movie. So, like the director's assistant and her assistant are probably the two biggest characters. Followed closely by the director and the star of the movie. But there's stuff about like hiring the extras, and bringing them in and having them on set. So like as a guy that has a decent IMDb profile, but mostly really small parts, talk to me. And I hope you don't take offense to me saying really small parts.
Right.
Talk to me about what it's like to like audition and I mean, because you've got 73 roles over 30 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say 20.
Yeah.
I graduated theater school in '98. So
Yeah.
20,
Your first credit in TV. I mean, you've got a Dream Life is a short from '96.
Yeah, that's
and then Real Kids, Real Adventures,
which
one episode in '99.
And guess who the main actor was in that episode?
Who?
Hayden Christensen.
Oh wow!
Yeah, as a young boy, I played a fireman and a kid had set fire to something or something like that. And this was years I don't really remember, but the main kid was Hayden Christensen.
Okay.
As a young Toronto kid, yeah.
Well, and that would have been, or no, that's right, because he wasn't in Star Wars until the second movie. So it would have been right before that. I was thinking of it as right after because I was thinking of Phantom Menace, but he wasn't in Phantom Menace. He wasn't in anything until Attack of the Clones. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk to me about how one. I mean, I guess part of it is Toronto is a favorite location for shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Ottawa.
Other than the LA area, it's probably one of the better places to be an actor.
Well, and in Canada, it's basically either there or Vancouver because a lot of the sci-fi stuff shoots in Vancouver. But I always wanted, I don't know, I was a bit more of a purist in Vancouver. Not that there's anything wrong with sci-fi, but there's no stage work at all in Vancouver. So I came to Toronto with the intention of doing more stage. That's what I fell in love with. But but like comics, stage pays crap. And so,
Oh
and not
yeah.
only that, the commitment required. So I'd get a job bartending while I was trying, and I'd have to leave those jobs because if I got a theater contract, it'd be
Yep.
8 weeks away, and those
I
8 weeks
have.
away would pay me to live for maybe 3 months. And
Yeah,
that,
my best friend has a master's degree in music theater from the Boston Conservatory.
there you go.
She
Yeah.
sang with the Boston Pops when she was in college,
Oh,
but she also became a high enough end waitress that she hasn't acted in more than 20 years because she
yeah.
hasn't been in a position where she was willing to quit the job that paid $3,000 a week for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. And so I was getting, auditions for small things, and then I actually the small roles thing. I don't take offense to. Like here in Canada, we basically do whatever we can to make money. And weirdly, I've played lead roles in award-winning miniseries, and then I've done 2 lines on a thing. Like I'm more project-based. If I find the project,
No, that's cool.
that's what I'm into. And like Aaron Sorkin, it's 2 scenes. But
Right.
it's Aaron Sorkin. So well, yeah.
Oh, and you were in 9 episodes of Degrassi?
Yeah, so that's another
Kevin Smith would love you.
There you go. I did 3 seasons of Degrassi where I played a parent to 2 of the main kids. I did a show called What's Up Warthogs where I was the only adult, kind of like a Saved by the Bell kind of show, but I was the
Okay.
that for 2 seasons. And then I've done little bits here and there in big movies, and they all are, audition wise, they're kind of all the same. The big thing that I'll say that's changed with that is COVID happened.
Okay.
And so now auditions aren't in person. You tape them on your phone, you send them in, and you wait. I mean, you don't even wait anymore because it's like sending them off into the ether. I will say what I miss is that interaction, not only
Okay.
not only with directors and with casting directors in a room where they can redirect you, but also in the waiting room with fellow actors. I miss that camaraderie and the bitching, the bitching about the industry and how there's not enough work for anyone and all that stuff. So that's the biggest change, and I've actually stepped away from acting. Not that I don't act, I still do. It's still what I do to make an okay living and pay for the roof over my head. But I don't pursue it the way I used to. Now my pursuit is comics and writing for comics, and that's where
I mean, you have an upcoming TV movie as Katie's dad, at least according to IMDb.
Well, and this is a cute thing too because Katie is my real daughter.
Oh, wow.
So Katie,
so you get paid twice.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I get paid, and her education money, she gets paid. It does.
Oh, wait a minute. You're going to be a good parent
Yes.
of
Yes. We have an investment for her education. So that was an opportunity where I knew the producer, and she said, she's like, I know it's just a small part, but it's local. You won't have to leave. Do you want to do this? And then I read it and I said, oh, it says here I have a daughter. My daughter is 7 years old, and so they had her audition, and she got to play my daughter. So it was really
Cool.
fun.
That sounds fun.
It was awesome. What acting has brought me are experiences that I'll always remember and always have with me, and it's brought me around the world. And yeah, it's amazing, and I love acting. I just don't have the same drive to do it that I did in my 20s. I do it. I audition and I audition for cool things, and more often than not, I don't get it, and I just keep plugging away.
I mean, comics, you get to tell your own stories too.
Well, exactly, and in an easier way than it was to do in film, and in a way that you can make it happen. If no publisher wants to publish it, you can set up a Kickstarter. Maybe you'll get lucky, and you can print the damn thing, and
you don't have health insurance to worry about.
Yeah,
I mean, like some of my comics friends who are also film friends, I mean, it's like their health insurance is through the Writers Guild.
Yeah,
so
mine is through the Actors
Guild.
Yeah, so beyond our basic Canadian healthcare, I have extended healthcare through the Actors Union because I've been in 25 years. I've been with the Actors Union, so yeah. There's that too. I just had $1,000 worth of dental work done. So
yeah. Which, unfortunately, there's no comic union
No, no, and yeah, it's again, I'm not a part of the. Not that I'd love someday to be offered it, but I'm not a part of the big two machine and the big two world, and
Right.
I don't get asked to do any of that stuff, and maybe I will. I don't know.
But even there's
There's
no
nothing. No,
union.
exactly. And
Most of that's freelance. I mean, you got to be like a superstar before they're offering you
yeah,
like a contract that's a paycheck rather than a page rate.
right, right. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and it generally requires some level of exclusivity.
yes,
You know, which can be a hit or miss thing. I mean, it's a weird industry, as really all arts are. I mean, I think, you know, my autistic brain and my math problem solving brain is always thinking about like the fact that so many artistic people just don't have the basic math business skills and therefore are absolute marks for the people that don't know good art from nothing, but they know that they can get all art cheap. And then
yeah,
if some of it is good, and then they manage to convince you that that's the way it's supposed to be because I lost money on all of these things and it's only because of this one. And it's like, yeah, but you know, you shouldn't have bought half of those.
Well, and that's what I mean. That's how I developed some of my relationships with some of the comic book people. Because in that time, like I said, I worked also as a development producer, and so these people who were doing indie comics and weren't big enough as they are now to have the lawyers, I'd look at all their option agreements and I'd say,
Right.
just so you know, you're basically giving this away.
Right. Right.
Like, look at this clause. So I was as a favor, I was doing that for a lot of those creators, those early top shelf creators, just to sort of basically tell them to look out because
Right.
I'm lucky because I was a producer. I have that business acumen in for the arts, and I understand
Right.
it. With publishers, they're asking me about contracts to my lawyers. I'm like, no, I handle all my contracts. I can do all that
Right.
stuff. Yeah, so I do feel very because you're right. There are artists who would just give their stuff away because that's who they are. That's not what they're in it. They're in it to tell their stories, and they just feel
And there's certainly a lot of artists that like don't realize that they're giving their stuff away.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, Bendis, a whole chapter of Bendis's book is written by his wife, and it's about the
Right.
business side of comics.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's the first one to tell you that if it weren't for his wife,
Yeah.
he wouldn't be where he is right now.
Yeah,
And that's such a common story in the industry, you know.
for sure.
I mean, for that matter, you know, Dennis Kitchen became a publisher because he was the one guy on the indie comic, you know, on the alternative comic scene that actually like had a head for money. So
Yeah.
like he didn't lose money. He saw that other people were struggling. He's like, well, I can help out with that. And the next thing he knew, he was more of a publisher than an artist because
Yeah, and it's not to
because
say,
none of the other guys knew how to do it.
and it's you know, it's understanding it's a business, even though, and this is something Rosenberg's so good at too, is like his ability to market his stuff is beyond what anyone else does. Like he's incredible at it. And you know, he ran the record label, so he
Yep.
gets it, and it's so clear that he gets it because he's so damn good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at what he does even on that side of it and go, oh, okay, let me take
And marketing comics is hard.
very hard. But again,
Nobody really gets how to. I mean, there are people who get how to market their own comics, but
yeah.
I laugh so hard at what some of the things that the marketing people at the big two think are good ideas. I'm like,
Yeah, 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 for sure.
so yeah. Well, I am going to let you go because I said I was going to let you go like almost an hour ago, and
Chatty
we babbled in a fun way, and I'm
Good.
certain I'll have you back because I already know that this is a book that I want the spoiler-filled conversations. So like I'll be calling you in between like the issues being done and the trade paperback to say, hey, Duane, let's get into it. It was a blast. You're welcome back anytime. Stick around for a minute or two after we're done and we'll chat. But let me take us out. And it was a pleasure. And it's Who Are the Power Pals in stores on March 19th. Better Place is already available from Top Shelf. Both are absolutely amazing. You should go read them. Keep an eye out for Duane Duane Murray's writing, and then go read the Duane Moore books from Larry McMurtry. They're very
also
good.
Great. Also great.
And for 22 panels, this has been Duane Murray, and we will see you after the next page.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22panelspodcast.